Well, technology gets more sophisticated every year, and it dominates our lives increasingly. At the same time, though, technology seems to be eroding our society and our happiness. Would it be possible to adjust technology so that it improves our lives and our society rather than degrades it? That's the question that Tristan Harris studies. He's director and co-founder of the Center for Humane Technology and joins us tonight. Tristan Harris, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So what would it mean to take control of technology to make it improve our lives rather than
not downgrade and ruin our society? So the problem that we're trying to name is that we don't have a name for this connected system of effects. So shortening of attention spans, addiction, polarization, outragification of politics, call-out culture, teen isolation, mental health. These are all connected issues because there's only so much human attention out there, right? It takes 9 months to grow new human attention. And so it's this finite race for a finite resource, and the companies are sort of have to get more and more aggressive to get that attention out. So that means short, simple phrases work better than long, complicated, nuanced things. It means that short words of moral outrage, for every word of moral outrage you add to a tweet, it increases your retweet rates by 17%. So if you say it's abominable, it's a disgrace, you get more and more attention, but it's filling up more and more of the channel, so our whole society feels like it's going crazy all at once. And this is happening with Facebook, with YouTube, with teen mental health. It's not enough to just get people's attention. We have to get the tech industry has to get people addicted to getting attention from other people. So this is what's created influencer culture. So now you have teenage girls who have to have more followers and likes, and you have to have the beautification filters. 55% of plastic surgeons said last year in a survey that they saw at least one patient who was a teen girl who wanted to look like their Snapchat beautification filter to get plastic surgery. So this is actually a connected system of harms that we think of almost like the climate change of culture. Frank Luntz actually calls it that. We call it human downgrading, which is that while we're extracting attention from people, we're crawling down the brainstem to get the attention, to upgrade the machines, it's downgrading people, downgrading attention spans, downgrading civility, downgrading decency. And there's a better way to do it, and that's why we are trying to catalyze this transition. We're a group of former technology insiders who used to be the people who know how these products work and are designed, and we know we need to change the incentives.
Why are you one of such a small group of people even imagining a world where we could have control of technology, not the other way around? Why are the rest of us so passive in the face of what we all recognize is happening?
Well, I think a lot of people, everyone recognizes this is happening, Tucker. I mean, I think everyone feels it, right? Like, it's harder and harder to read a book. It's harder to have a civil conversation. It's harder to feel good about, where we're spending our time and how much we're looking at our phones. But I think what we need is language. We need to have language for what's happening. And I think when you have phrases like, the race to the bottom of the brainstem to get attention out of people, it helps people see that there's a problem. And what we've seen is that by giving language to something, we've actually gotten advocates inside the companies to change their behavior. Last year, Mark Zuckerberg adopted time well spent, which is our phrase for the mission of the company. Apple and Google launched the screen time management features, but these are tiny little baby steps in what really needs to happen. And I want to say that, Apple actually is the company that's almost like the government of the attention economy. If they wanted to, their business model is not maximizing how much you're hooked to your phone. They just have to get you to buy it every 2 years. And they could change the design to be more like a GPS that's just taking you out into the world to the next life experience. If you think about it, like, the point of a GPS isn't to addict you to the GPS. You sit there fiddling with it and getting sucked into it for as long as possible, or taking you somewhere you didn't want to go.
It's a tool.
It's a tool. And the thing is that where did we get, we got off the wrong road on this one. I mean, technology should be about that. It can actually be a GPS for our lives. It can help us have, when we're isolated, it can help us, make the easiest choice on life's menu be to text those closest friends of ours and make that easy to set that up, as opposed to the easiest choice to make is to keep scrolling infinitely, mindlessly. And so they just have to flip the menu around, and that's kind of what we're hoping to catalyze, is by raising awareness. How can we change this around?
Interesting. Very quick, Is Apple open to this? I mean, that seems like one of the fastest ways to make a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that if people put more pressure on Apple, they could really change this in a way that, you can't ask Facebook or YouTube, whose business model is to maximize the watch time, to stop doing that. Their stock price is directly hooked to that. But honestly, I think even with the case of YouTube, we might have to ask them to completely turn off recommendations when you understand what it's doing. You wonder how you get a Christchurch or this sort of radicalization. It's like it's tilting the whole playing field in these radicalizing directions. That's another conversation, but Apple really... Yeah, and Apple, though, again, is the one company whose business model could be just about helping people protect their sovereignty, protect their minds, protect our free will.
Tristan, that's the most hopeful thing I've heard in a long time from the tech world. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight. Tristan Harris.
Thanks for having me, Tucker. Yeah, good to see you too.
We're out of time. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 p.m., the show that is the sworn enemy of lying, pomposity, smugness, and groupthink. A lot of bad things going on in the world. The good news is it's a pretty interesting moment.